All right, welcome everyone. It is Sunday, June 26th. I am Adam Merton. This is Big Marcel. This is the MMAOB Daily Podcast for Sunday, 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. now, actually. We already finished the first podcast of the day, Marcel. We did the recap of UFC Vegas 57. Now we're going to be breaking down UFC 276. And I'm really looking forward to talking about this card with you, Marcel. Always enjoy breaking down all the fights, Marcel, but particularly the pay-per-views, Marcel. I feel like it's a bigger event. So just your overall thoughts really quickly, Marcel, on the card before we break down each of the fights.
Yeah, it's like kind of loaded, It's like International Fight Week. So they always load these cards for International Fight Week. Yeah. I think there are fights on the early prelims which shouldn't be on the early prelims, for example. Maybe there are a few fights on the prelims that should be on the early prelims. And we still only have 4 fights on the main card at this moment because Murphy against Tate got canceled last night. So, yeah, we'll see.
So I heard someone say that Muniz and Hall got moved up. Is that official or no?
He was hoping that, I think.
Okay.
Official.
Okay. So we'll talk about that. We'll just talk about where it currently is placed on the card. So I'm going to go by the UFCstats.com order as always, guys. Again, Miesha Tate and Lauren Murphy has been scratched. It's not on this card anymore. But honestly, Marcel, I didn't even care about that fight. I thought it was going to be kind of boring, to be honest with you. So the fact it was supposed to open the pay-per-view made no sense to me.
I did read, actually, that they maybe move it to Long Island.
Long Island, yeah, that's the plan. Steve says he's looking forward to the card since the moment the fights got announced. Me too. This card's stacked. I love this card, guys. Let's get into it. We'll start with the first. Go ahead.
Why not move that to July 9th, for example? But why Long Island? Does it have to be in front of an audience? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well, apparently Murphy has something going on, so I don't know if it's an injury or what, but maybe she needs another week. Anyways, Let's get into this card, Marcel. We're going to break down all the fights in the card, guys. Looking forward to this one. We'll start off in the women's bantamweight division in the first fight of the night. We have Jessica Rose Clark against Julija Stoliarenko. And, Marcel, I got to be honest with you, this card feels like it's just kind of an odd placement on this pay-per-view. I just don't really understand why this is on the pay-per-view card. It could be a decent fight just because, honestly, Stoliarenko is really tough and she likes to bleed in her fights, but I don't know. It just seems a little bit misplaced because every other fight in this card is like ranked people or legends, and then you have this fight. It's kind of weird. Anyways, Clark minus 140, Stoliarenko plus 120. Your thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, man, fight is kind of out of place on this card. Jessica Rose Clark last time she got subbed by Stephanie Egger, which was kind of surprising to me. Didn't saw that one coming. Yeah. Julija Stoliarenko, I think she's 0-4 in the UFC, right?
Correct.
Her only great fight was actually that I think that split decision win against Lisa Forzosa, or that's her name, right?
Yes. The girl in Victor, where they had that crazy bloody fight. Yeah, that's a good fight, by the way.
That was a good fight, yeah. But I'm definitely not going to pick an 0-4 girl in the UFC right now. I know I did with Bordeaux last week with the 0-3 guy, but I'm going with Clark. I think Clark fight smart here, she knows she has to win. If she loses again, she got 2 straight losses, and the fights before those wins weren't great, so I think she fights smart. I'm going with Jessica Rose Clark with a decision here.
That's my lean, but I would not bet on this fight. It's a weird ass matchup. She's coming off an armbar loss. She's fighting a girl, like Glenn mentioned, so many of her wins are by submission by armbar, right? That's her specialty. She hasn't did in the UFC yet, but she has a dangerous armbar. I do think it's weird that they didn't re-sign Alexis Davis to let her go, but the girl who beats her, Stoliarenko, gets another fight. Isn't that weird, Marcel? I don't really get it. I don't know why she's still on the roster. Again, 0-4 overall. Not that great. I can't pick someone with this record, but this could be a fight she wins because, again, she has some advantages here. She's taller, longer, younger. She has advantages, guys. There's no doubt. I just can't pick her because she's looked so bad in the UFC. But, Clark Marcel, at times she looks great. The Edwards fight looks nice. That win looks really good. The Alper win looks great too. But, that last fight, Marcel getting submitted like that was very surprising to me and not a good look either. I know Egger is a decent underrated fighter as well, but I don't know, Marcel. It's kind of a weird fight. So I would stay away from this one. I'm leaning towards Clark by decision as well, Marcel, because Stoliarenko is very tough, but I have no interest in betting this fight at all. No thanks. I don't have an interest in it. Aussie heavy card, why Clark got added? Maybe. I know she's training in Vegas too, but I just think it's Alberg should have been this card instead, honestly, and they could have put Clark on last night's card. My mom has worked T-Mobile since it opened. This is really her last fight working. She's retiring next month. Hey man, congrats to your mom, dude. That's incredible. I went to T-Mobile once. It was a great arena. It was huge. Why did Valve get cut? I mean, we can't take those other questions right now, but we don't know why. I honestly have no idea. You know, Marcel, really quick, we can't take other questions, so guys, we don't have time.
I have no idea, man.
Yeah, we don't either. Sorry, guys. We only have an hour here. Marcel's got stuff to do, and I have to go to a baseball game after. Let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. We have Brad Tavares against Dricus du Plessis, Marcel. Great fight, Marcel. I love this fight. I think this is one of the best fights in the card. It's crazy it's buried in the prelims, but I mean, the card's stacked. So this is where the card starts getting really good. Brad Tavares right now, actually, it's du Plessis slightly favored, -115, Tavares -105. So the line's been kind of going up and down here, but looks like du Plessis is a slight favorite right now. Your thoughts, Marcel?
To be honest, I think it's kind of embarrassing the UFC has buried this on the early prelims and not on the ABC prelims. It's a great fight, Tavares. Tavares is kind of, for me, Tavares is kind of a basic guy, and with a basic guy, I mean he is really good in the basic stuff of MMA. If you look at Dricus du Plessis, guy has power. I think he's very talented, And the thing, if you can get past Brett Tavares in this division, in my opinion, you have a good future in front of you for 9 out of 10 times, I think du Plessis finishes him. I go with a second round TKO for the guy from South Africa. And it's gonna be a fun fight, I think. It's a fight that should be higher on the card, in my opinion. Yeah. And two great fighters. I'm taking Dricus du Plessis here.
Yeah, awesome fight for sure. I love this fight. Brad Tavares is just a very tough guy, very tough individual. Marcel, he's been in the UFC for years, for the most part, very active over the years. One thing though, he has been knocked out a couple times, Marcel. We've seen him get KO'd. So while he is a tough guy overall, he has been knocked out. That chick can get tested. du Plessis got power. He's got, from what I've seen, a pretty good ground game to him. I just think the guy's really good. And I was planning on kind of betting on him against anyone he fought next, Marcel, if it wasn't an elite guy, which I don't think Tavares is. He's top 15, but not elite. Again, the odds are, some sports books have Tavares slightly favored, some have as a dog. Do line shopping for this fight, but there's a couple of sports books right now. I'm looking right now, guys, plus 100 on du Plessis. Marcel, I think you got to go with him here as a slight dog. I got to take du Plessis, guys. I like him in this fight. I really do. Again, I think that he can keep the fight standing. Maybe Tavares has a little bit more volume, but I think du Plessis hits harder, Marcel. And that power, I think, will shine through here, Marcel. I think all of his wins are by stoppage, too, right? So I think he gets a knockout. You're thinking knockout, too?
Yeah, second round.
Yeah, so that's our pick there, guys. We have a unanimous pick on du Plessis there in the second fight of the night. Go to the next fight here, Marcel. Maycee Barber versus Jessica I. And odds on this one, Maycee Barber -240, I +200. What's your thoughts?
A very smart move by Maycee Barber picking this fight when Casey O'Neill got injured, Yep. I think Casey O'Neill would have blasted Jessica I, to be really honest, And I think Maycee Barber will do the same, although I still don't see Maycee Barber as the next big thing as she thinks she is herself, But I think I's kind of done, to be really honest. No disrespect to Jessica I, but I think her time is past.
Yep.
And I see Maycee Barber winning here. Will she finish this, sir? I don't know. I is not easy to finish, but I'm going with Maycee Barber by a dominant unanimous decision here in this one.
I really like Maycee Barber in this fight. I'm not a huge fan of her by any means, Marcel.
Yeah.
But I love this matchup for her. And again, I like Casey O'Neill against I too. I like Barber, guys. I think she should be -300 or 400 here. I don't really give Jessica much of a chance. I know obviously she's a good striker. We know that. She's competitive in her fights, but I just feel like Maycee, a lot younger, Marcel. She could pin her against the fence. She's a stronger girl, in my opinion here. Pin her against the fence, do some dirty boxing. Maybe get Jessica to the ground, maybe drag her to the ground. But even on the feet, I think it'll be competitive, and I think Barber can hang her on the feet. And I probably has the better pure boxing, to be honest with you. But I don't know, man. She's lost 3 straight fights. I know against good fighters, but Marcel, I don't know. I just don't believe her anymore. And that Cynthia Calvillo fight looks really bad, doesn't it, Marcel, getting taken down, dominated by her? Yeah. That doesn't look very good. Barber, I think, could take her down, beat her up a little bit here. I like Maycee Barber here, guys. I think she's a good pick, and someone you'd like to parlay people. I think she's someone that could be in your parlay. Marcus, what's up, man? How's it going? He likes du Plessis. He should not be the underdog. Again, it depends on the book, but I've seen plus 100 out there. If you can get that in du Plessis, I saw him plus 120 earlier this week, so it went down a little bit. It might flip by the time the fight comes. He might end up being -130 or -140. It wouldn't surprise me, but yeah, I like du Plessis there as well. Barber lost to Montana. No, she beat her.
She won.
She won the fight, Glenn. You're wrong on that one, Glenn. Apologies, but yeah, that's That was I don't think it was even that close, Marcel, if I'm remember. Yeah, 30-27 for Barber. So yeah, she lost. She should have lost to Maverick. Maybe that's the fight he's talking about, because I think we all thought she lost that fight, to be fair. But again, I just don't rank Jessica Hyde very high, Marcel, if that makes sense. As soon as that injury happened and she took the fight, that was just a smart move by her, because it allows you to move up the ranks against someone who's very beatable. So all right, let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. Andre Muniz against Uriah Hall. This might end up on the main card. We're not sure yet. Maybe they'll put the Robbie Lawler fight, because I know he was complaining that he's on the prelims for the first time in like 20 years, Marcel. So maybe they move up a Lawler and Barberena or something. I don't know. But either way, we got Hall and Muniz next. Muniz is the favorite here, minus 265, Hall plus 225. Your thoughts, Marcel?
Yeah, man, this is very easy. If Muniz gets the fight to the ground, Hall is fucked. That's what I think. Hall will look for the knockout, as he always does. And that's where Muniz has to watch out, I think, in this fight. This is pretty much, you either go with Uriah Hall by a finish early with a knockout and he catches Muniz, or you're going with Muniz winning the fight by either decision or submission. And I think he can submit Uriah Hall, man, to be really honest. I'm going with Muniz, and I think in first round submission again.
I really like Muniz, guys. You guys know I love this guy. I mean, I made some good bets on him over the years, like what's it called, against Jacare, where he broke his arm, even against Eric Anders, and then Bartosz Rybinski. I think this guy's great. I'm a huge fan of him, but I will mention this, okay? He's been knocked out 4 times in his career, Marcel, and now he's fighting a very, very good striker in Uriah Hall, who has devastating knockout power, who has 13 wins by knockout. I think there's a chance Hall could knock him out. I don't know if I want to bet on him at minus 265. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, Maycee Barber's like a little bit less odds, and I'd like her even better in her fight. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to pick Muniz. I love the guy. His ground game is lethal. I think he's legit, but he's been knocked out 4 times. So if he doesn't get to the ground from the feet, Marcel, he might get knocked out. It's possible. That's the only thing I'm worried about here. The fight stays standing. But again, I think it will take it down. I'm with you, Marcel, and I think it gets to the ground and submits him too. So fight doesn't go the distance. I don't think this fight goes to 3 rounds. You don't think so either, Marcel?
No.
All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We got Jim Miller against Donald Cerrone. This fight was added late, obviously. Jim Miller was supposed to fight Bobby Green. Green's out. Cerrone was supposed to fight Lozon last week. It's kind of crazy. This is a welterweight, actually, Marcel, this fight.
Yeah, I know.
So it's at 170. Okay, so that makes sense. Miller, I don't know what his record is at 170. I'm not sure if he's fought there before. It's interesting. Miller's the favorite, guys, minus 220, plus 180 on Donald Cerrone. So this is interesting because, again, I always track the lines. Remember, Miller was a huge underdog in his last, or not huge, but he was like minus or plus 140 against Nicholas Mata in his last fight and won. And now he's a big favorite against Cerrone. Kind of strange. I know Cerrone obviously is on a big skid, but they fought before and Cerrone beat Jim Miller pretty easily. And I know it was 8 years ago, but still. And this is at 172, Marcel.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
That's what I'm saying. This fight's not as easy as call it, because most people I'm talking to are like, oh, Miller destroys Cerrone. I just got to hear your thoughts on this one, because I got some thoughts on the fight, but I want to hear your thoughts, Marcel.
If this fight is at 155, I'm more confident in picking Jim Miller, dude. But at 170, Cerrone doesn't have to cut all the weight because he looked like really like he looked like the Grim Reaper, dude. 155 on the scale, so he doesn't have to cut weight again. This favors Cerrone, man, in my opinion. And Jim Miller is short for a lightweight, and now he's fighting at welterweight against Donald. Yeah. I think Donald wins. I'm going with a decision for Donald Cerrone. That's how I see it.
I'm surprised you're picking him too. I'm going to pick him too. I can't believe it, because last week I'm over Lozon, right?
Yeah, me too.
But again, it's at 155. That weight cut's brutal for him. At 170, he doesn't have to cut the weight. Here's the other thing. Looking at the actual intangibles here, Cerrone's 5 inches taller, 2 inches more reach. Marcel, they're the same age, so that doesn't favor either guy. They both have, Marcel, their records are pretty much the same, 34-16 versus 36-16. I mean, that's incredible. They both have basically the same amount of fights. Here's the thing. I know Miller's got 2 straight knockouts, and I picked in both those fights. I had him against Moda, Marcel. Remember, I think we both had him in that fight.
We both had him, yeah.
All over him in that fight, right? Here's the thing, though. He's not the guy that comes out of the gate and blasts you right away like Joe Lozon does, and that's the kind of guy Cerrone falls to. Miller's the guy who kind of takes his time and eventually will get the finish, like if he knocks you out. Donald Cerrone's been submitted, but he hasn't been submitted like 13 or 14 years, Marcel. He's got a great ground game, okay? So I feel like it's going to be hard for Miller to submit him, and I feel like it's going to take place on the feet. And I think Cerrone's the better striker overall, Marcel. And at 170, I do like him better, and I feel like these odds are wider than I expect. I thought it'd be like a pick 'em. I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I think Cerrone's got value at plus 180, Marcel. I can't believe I'm saying this. I really can't, but I got to take him here at these odds, especially. Like, I think he legitimately can win this fight, guys. I think he can keep it standing and win the fight. I wouldn't like put a huge bet on him here because of obviously having 5 straight losses or with the draw in there, but maybe half a unit or something at plus 180, you could win no unit back if that's the kind of way you bet. Because at plus 180, I mean, I feel like the odds are off. I feel like Marcel, I really think this is a coin flip fight, So I'll favor the guy. Actually, I would say it's even Cerrone should be slightly favored, to be honest with you, now that I'm thinking about it. The multiple weight cuts are weird, but he's not cutting a lot of weight for this fight. I don't think he's cutting much at all. So that's the thing, Wani. Like it's 170. If it was 155, I'd feel differently. But at 170, I kind of feel like it favors Cerrone, like Marcel said. So anyone betting Cerrone Hall is brave, 210 round fighters. I mean, like I said, it was just a fight ago, guys, where everyone said Jim Miller was going to get destroyed by Nicholas Mott. Now all of a sudden he's a big favorite over Cerrone. That kind of stuff, it just kind of is strange. So, yeah, a fight doesn't go distance. I don't think it goes 3. You think it goes 3 rounds? I don't think so, Marcel. Remember, they did fight before. Cerrone beat him up pretty good. Again, it was 2014, but, they're both old, Marcel. They're not young guys,
Yeah, I'm picking Cerrone by either decision or a late stoppage, but I'm still going with decision.
Yeah. Squirrel MMA, thanks for the insight, guys. Always appreciate it. Hey, man, appreciate you listening, dude. All right, let's go to the next fight, Marcel. I'm honestly surprised, Marcel, because I got to be honest, everyone I've talked to is all over Jim Miller in this fight. I just feel like I get it, but the odds are off, So we got to look at that too. Let's go to the next fight here, guys. Ian Garry against Gabe Green in the UFC welterweight division. I love this fight, Marcel. Banger. Ian Garry is the favorite here, minus 160. Gabe Green plus 140. Your thoughts on this one, my friend?
Yeah. What should I say about this one, man? I think the UFC thinks that Ian Garry gets past Gabe Green pretty easily. That's what the UFC thinks. The thing is with Ian Garry, I think he's talented. He's still very young. But at the same time, I feel like I don't want to say he's overrated because he's really young, but I still think the UFC overrates him a little bit. I don't think he's as amazing as they think at this moment. I think he is still young, can learn a lot, maybe can become even more better. He can get definitely better. He will get better, but if he gets to the top, I don't know. If we look at Gabe Green, super tough guy, always comes to scrap. Got a great win against Lay Ness last time out, but he was dropped by Lay Ness as well, and it kind of worries me for some reason because I think that Garry can win, not stop him, but can win the fight, I think Gabe Green is super tough, but I think Garry will edge it out with a decision again. So I'm going with Ian Garry here. I don't think Gabe Green is the one who stops Garry, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I mean, listen, Gabe Green's good. He's obviously better than a lot of us thought. But, that fight with Johan was only like 2 months ago, and he got dropped in that fight. I'm surprised he's fighting against so soon. I got to be honest with you. Garry took no damage at all against Week, so I'm not surprised he's jumping back in here. UFC's obviously like high on – well, I mean, I think they're high on both guys, honestly, Marcel, because there's no loser here. I mean, if Green wins, they can give him a top 15 guy, and if Garry wins, they can give him a top 15 guy if he wants. I know he wants to take a slow build, but, I think this is a fight he can win. Marcel's super technical on the feet, doesn't seem to have a bad chin by any means. His cardio is really good, unlike Johan Laness. Gabe Green's just, to me, still too hittable. I think Ian Garry just outpoints him. Marcel sticks and moves and wins a decision here. So, interesting, because Gabe Green's a good fighter, but I just think, he's good, but I just think stylistically, a technical striker against a brawler, I would take the technical striker in that fight. Let's go to the next fight. Marcel, we got 2 brawlers here. Robbie Lawler and Bryan Barberena. I mean, this is a hell of a fight. Hopefully they move to the main card. I love this matchup. Robbie Lawler minus 130, Bryan Barberena plus 110. I think this definitely could win fight of the night, Marcel. I think it's up there for fight of the night. I mean, this card's stacked, but I think they'll probably give out extra bonuses, but I think this could be fight of the night. Give me your thoughts on this card, Marcel, or this fight, because I think it's one of the best fights in the card.
All Bryan Barberena are fight of the night if his opponent shows up as well. That's pretty much how it is, Robbie Lawler, he won his last fight against Nick Diaz, right? But, what can we say about that one? Before that, not really great, kind of on a decline. But for Barberena, the thing is, I was really shocked by Barberena when he lost to Jason Witt, I didn't expect that at all. But after that, good wins against Darian Weeks and the split decision against Matt Brown was a close fight, could have gone either way. Fun one. I think Lawler is really on a decline, dude, to be really honest. And I think Barberena still has something in them to get it going. I'm taking Barberena with a decision, not with a stoppage, but a decision here to win.
Yeah, I mean, this is an amazing fight. I love this matchup, guys. They're both great. I mean,
Yeah.
I am a big fan of both guys. Love their fighting styles. Obviously, this is going to be a stand-up war. I don't think anyone's are expecting much grappling in here. It's a tough fight to call. I mean, Barberena obviously is a little bit younger, but I mean, he takes a lot of damage in his fights too, though, and both guys do. But Lawler hits so fucking hard; he can knock him out. Bryan has been knocked out a couple times. He's been knocked out. Randy Brown, Luque knocked him out. He's super tough. Don't get me wrong. I don't know, Marcel. This one's close. I guess we're going to be in the opposite ends. I'm going to go with Robbie Lawler. I think he can knock him out. He's done it a lot through his career. But if he gets out volumed here, Marcel, it wouldn't surprise me either. It's a very, very tough fight to call, in my opinion. I'm leaning slightly towards Robbie Lawler to get that chin of Barberena and drop him here and finish him with strikes. But man, I mean, it's a phenomenal fight. I love this matchup. And like I said, I think it's going to be one of the clubhouse leaders for fight of the night. A lot of Barberenas here. Barb. I don't know. Maybe. He struggled with Matt Brown, though, guys. I mean, Matt Brown is good, but I think Lawler beats him. He's already beat him, actually. Even before, I think Lawler's more explosive and powerful than Brown. I feel the same way as you, actually. And I was all over Barberena against Matt Brown. It's just a different fight. So it's an interesting fight. Don't get me wrong. I think it's pick-up odds are fair. I think that's fine.
It's a good matchup, man. It's good matchmaking, this one.
Love it. All right, let's go to the next fight. Brad Riddell versus Jalin Turner. Go with good matchmaking, Marcel.
Yeah.
This is amazing, too. The winner, I mean, we'll get hopefully a step up to someone really high in the lightweight rankings. Great fight here. Jalin Turner, slight favorite, minus 120, plus 100, Brad Riddell. What do you think, Marcel?
Jalin Turner has surprised me in this last couple of fights, man. I got to be really honest, I think he has done really well. I still have that Matt Frevola in my back of my head, that fight. And that's why I was so hesitant in picking him all the time, If you look at Brad Riddell, very solid guy, good kickboxer, in my opinion. Got in the UFC with 4 wins. Good win over Drew Dober, which is probably his best win. I think the Mustafayev win was kind of 50-50, could have gone the other way. And then he lost to Fiziev last time out. Yeah, this is a difficult one, to be really honest, man. I think it can go both ways. But, man, I'm not going to make the same mistake again, dude. I've gone against Jalin Turner for 2 straight fights. I'm not going to pick against him again. I think Jalin Turner wins the fight, and I see him maybe submitting Brad Riddell, maybe the second round.
I love this fight, Marcel, and I'm actually with you on this one too. So I've been picking against Turner for a while. I mean, he's got the knockout losses early in his career. I'm like, okay, this guy's chin's not that good, but man, it doesn't even matter. I mean, at this point, because the ground game's so dominant and his striking is good too. And Riddell's a great striker, but I just feel like Turner's got a big advantage in the grappling. Not only that, Marcel, here's some other things to mention: 8 inches taller, 6 inches of reach, southpaw, 4 years younger, long win streak here. He has 4 straight wins by stoppage, just destroying everyone. Like guys like are pretty good, like Medic, like Malarkey, they're pretty good fighters. Even Kulabel, that win looks pretty good now too, doesn't it? Like, listen, he's lost a few times that surprised me, like the Frevola fight. I was very surprised he lost that fight the way he did. But this is a different fight against a guy who's more of a striker. I think Turner goes to his wrestling in this fight, so I think he takes him down. And I think he can finish him, Marcel, honestly. I don't think this fight goes the distance either way, because I think if Riddell wins, he'll knock him out. There's no line out right now, guys, for a fight not going the distance, but this fight won't go the distance, in my opinion. I'd be surprised. I think either Riddell knocks him out or Turner gets probably a sub, maybe ground and pound, maybe. Going with Jalin Turner, man. Gotta go with Turner. Turner should be in the main card, in my humble opinion. I mean, both guys are very fun to watch. Riddell's fought tall guys. Should be interesting for sure. Riddell's good, don't get me wrong. I can't pick against Turner anymore, Marcel. I keep doing it. I keep getting wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong here. Watch this be the fight, Marcel, where he finally loses, and we were wrong about him. But should be a great fight. All right, now we get to the main card, Marcel. Wow, I mean, this is just a stacked main card. So again, we don't know what fight of the prelims we talked about will be added to the main card with Tate and Murphy off, but we'll see. Let's start with the first fight, Marcel. Sean O'Malley versus Pedro Munhoz. Great fight here as well, Marcel. This could also be fight of the night. Munhoz has won. Let me check how many fight of the night awards. He's got 4 and 3 performance bonuses. So I mean, yeah, definitely is a chance. Sean O'Malley minus 250, Munhoz plus 210. Your thoughts?
Yeah, O'Malley's 8 years younger, right? I had a certain lean towards this fight, but I kind of been like overthinking it, and I'm going to pick a different way. If you look at Munhoz last time out, he's still competitive with all these guys. He fight, but he's losing to Cruz, losing to Jose Aldo. He lost to Edgar in the fight. I think he won, actually, but he lost that one.
I thought he won that fight, too, for sure.
Yeah. So if you look at O'Malley, has one loss on his record against Marlon Chito Vera. Got a good win against Rolian Paiva last time. A really good win, in my opinion. Yeah. I feel like that Munhoz, if he's smart, he goes to the ground as soon as possible, But I think that he's not going to do it, I think he will try to stand up with O'Malley in the beginning, and that will be a mistake, I think. I'm leaning towards O'Malley, but with a really big question mark. If Munhoz fights smart, he can win the fight, I think. But O'Malley's going to win this one. Second round TKO for Sean O'Malley, in my opinion.
I got to go with O'Malley too. I mean, I have to, right? Because again, he's on such a roll here. Great striker, and again, he's got some intangibles here. He's 5 inches taller, 7 inches of reach, 8 years younger. So he's got all those advantages. And I just think he is this better striker overall, Marcel. Munhoz definitely got good kicks, but I see him get outstruck. Like, even remember when he fought Sterling, that was really surprising how badly he got struck in that fight, because Sterling's not really a striker. Munhoz is good. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll put up the best fight of O'Malley's had in a while. He's never. I don't think he's been knocked out in his career, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Munhoz has ever been knocked out. No, he hasn't. This could be the fight where he does, but I'm thinking maybe a decision, Marcel, for O'Malley instead, just kind of outpoints him. Like the Moutinho fight was going to be. This could be the same way. I gotta go with Sean O'Malley, Marcel. I have to. I mean, the guy is just an absolute killer right now. He's on a roll. All these knockouts, I think gets the job done again. So, Sean O'Malley is my pick here, guys. No surprise there. All right, let's get to the next fight, Marcel. Great fight here. Sean Strickland, one of my favorites, against Alex Pereira, a guy who's really good as well. Another really close fight, Marcel, minus 115, Pereira minus 105, Strickland. So essentially a pick 'em, slightly lean towards Pereira, but I mean, it could close as a pick 'em or the other way around by the time the odds close. Any thoughts on this one, Marcel, your pick?
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy, If Sean Strickland fights smart, he wins this fight 9 out of 10 times, If Sean Strickland doesn't fight smart, goes with Alex Pereira, stand and banks with him, he'll lose the fight. It's that easy. That's how I see it, And Sean Strickland knows that, because he was like, do you really think I'm going to stand with Pereira? I'm not crazy. I'm taking him down. And if he does that, he will probably win the fight. Because listen, dude, if Andreas Michailidis can get Pereira down in the first round and likely winning the first round against him, Sean Strickland can do that for 3 rounds. You know what I mean? So if he doesn't do that, I go with Pereira. But I think Strickland is smart, takes him to the ground. Unanimous decision win for Sean Strickland here.
I don't know, because I know that first fight with Michailidis didn't look good, obviously, but the Bruno Silva fight, Marcel, his takedown defense looked really good. His sprawl looked really good in that fight, and we know on the feet he's a great striker.
Adam,
what?
Got to break in here. How many submission wins does Bruno Silva have?
Not a lot, Marcel, but I'm just saying,
0.
but how many does Sean? Like, I know Sean Strickland at the beginning of his career had a lot, but he's not a grappler, Marcel. He's a striker. I don't really see him becoming like an elite wrestler in this fight. Like, that's his best way to win. But like, when was the last time? Let me see here. Okay, so he had a couple takedowns against Uriah Hall. I'll give him that. He does have some takedowns through his career. I'm just looking right now, but I don't really see him as a wrestler. I think that's the way he'd win. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's why the odds are close, Marcel, because he's the more well-rounded fighter, right? But I just feel like it's going to take place on the feet, Marcel. I think Pereira's going to outstrike him here. So it's crazy, right? Because Pereira's like no experience, and Strickland's one of my favorite fighters at 185. Someone asked who my favorite fighters earlier. I mean, Strickland's up there. He's only got 6 fights, but stylistically, Marcel, I think if he keeps on the feet, he wins for sure. Go ahead.
I feel like people buy way too much in the hype of Pereira, dude, to be really honest. I think he's a good striker, don't get me wrong, but he's not a complete fighter, He's a good fighter, but he's not a complete MMA fighter. And he has been in fights in the UFC so far. He should win. Everybody was like, oh, the Bruno Silva fight. Bruno Silva's a stand-up guy as well. He barely wrestles. He barely goes to the ground. Yeah. This is the last step for Pereira to go to the Adesanya fight. The UFC had to take a risk here to put him against Strickland,
Yeah.
And this is a huge risk, in my opinion. And in my opinion, Strickland has shown much more in his MMA career than Pereira has, So for me, it's like, I'm super surprised that so many people think that Pereira beats Strickland. I'm really surprised, dude.
Every matchup's different, man. Every fight is different. And, Strickland, a lot of his fights, he's the taller, longer guy. He doesn't have that advantage here. Pereira's taller and has a longer reach. And again, I think he's the more technical striker. I think he's got more power probably too. Strickland's great, man. I have nothing bad to say about him. I think he's a great fighter, but I just don't look at him as like an elite grappler, which is the kind of guy I think would be Pereira. Actually, more so, I think Muniz is probably the worst matchup in a way because of the grappling. On the feet though, Marcel, I just think he's going to be the better striker. It's good that we're at odds on one of these fights, though. I like that.
I don't think you even needed an elite grappler. I think any decent grappler who has a smart game plan can beat Pereira, man. To be really honest.
Yeah,
it's not kickboxing,
I mean, I guess, but like the guy, dude, you're not giving Bruno Silva enough credit, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying he's a grappler, he's not, but he outstruck him badly in that fight. Like, it wasn't even close in the feet, Marcel. Like, and Silva's a knockout artist too. So
yeah, but I say as well, if this stays on the feet,
right?
I think Pereira wins if this stays on the feet for sure. Yeah. But if Strickland is smart and he has more experience on the ground game as well, he takes him down. That's what I expect as well. So that's why I'm going with Sean Strickland.
No, it's fair. Listen, the odds are completely pick 'em. You know what I mean? So let's look at the comments. Love the praise working Glover. Strickland may not like what he gets in the ground. I mean, I think it helps. Basically, hey, what's up, man? Basically, Strickland's grappling says really good. Yeah, I mean, it is good, but we'll see if he uses it in the fight. He doesn't really tend to use it, guys. Like, he likes to just jab guys. Like, that's kind of the way he fights. I know he's had some takedowns. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I don't know. I mean, we have a different pick here, Marcel. I mean, you're not going to change my mind on this one, Marcel. I got to be honest. I respect your pick though, because you know what you're talking about. I respect actually everyone that's in this chat. I respect what you guys have to say. But again, Marcel, it's a pick 'em fight, so it's not like I'm the only one saying Pereira's going to win. If anything,
I hear many more people saying that, dude. So yeah, you definitely.
Yeah. You think he's improving his grappling a ton in the year? I think so, man. I think so. I mean, this guy's just a good athlete, but again, we don't know yet until we see. I don't think I'll bet on this fight, but I'm going to pick him. You know what I mean? Like, there's other spots I like better for bets. Like I talked about earlier. Like Plessis the same odds. I like him better against Tavares than Pereira. I feel more confident. You know what I mean, Marcel? So, but for a pure pick, I'm going with Pereira. I'm with Marcel. Should be an easy Strickland win. If he has fight IQ, we'll see if he uses it. Right? Strickland was a straight. Yeah, I know he was a grappler, but again, man, like I've watched all his fights at King of the Cage. I've watched all those fights. He did take those guys down. He looked fantastic, but I don't know, man. He's been in the UFC for how many years now, and does he really like to grapple guys? Not really. We'll see though. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, guys, and we'll see. It's a good fight. I don't get every pick right, obviously, so I'm curious to see how this fight goes. It's a fun fight, Marcel. It's good that we have a little bit of disagreement here. I mean, we've agreed on a lot of fights today, so it's nice that we have like this one. I think the Lawler fight is that it? Is that the only ones we agreed on, or disagreed on? I mean, those. Yeah. So we have two that are at odds here. Strickland jabs, takes easy wins, cuts the easy path to victory, easiest path is wrestling. I agree completely, but we'll see if he uses it. I mean, again, I like the sprawl I saw in the last fight, man. I thought his sprawl looked on point. Again, this is a kind of a different fight, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get to the co-main event here, Marcel. We got Alexander Volkanovski against Max Holloway for the third time. Another interesting fight, man. I mean, this is a great fight, obviously, guys. So I was at the first fight, and I thought Volk won every round. The second fight, I thought Max Holloway won the first 3 rounds and should have won the decision. And now the third fight's interesting. Again, you have Volkanovski favored -185, Holloway +160. I think the odds should probably be a little bit tighter here, but I'll start on this one, Marcel. It's just like, how do I pick against Volkanovski? Like, how can you? The guy is, 23 fights in a row or something he's won? He hasn't lost in the UFC. He might be the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet right now. I know Holloway's great, but that fight was 2 years ago, and since then, he had 2 fights against Cater and Rodriguez. They were wars. It didn't look great against Rodriguez, man, Volkanovski's just looking better and better, Marcel. Even though I thought Max won the second fight, I can't pick him here. I have to go Volkanovski, Marcel. I think he wins the decision. Again, for the third fight in a row. What do you think, man? It's just very rare we see 2 guys fight for 3 times. Going Volk decision is my pick. What do you think?
For me, it's like Holloway's career is like this. It's just very stable, you know. And Volkanovski is like this, going up. You know what I mean? I feel like Volkanovski is still improving every fight I see him in, you know. And for Holloway, it's like he's at the top of his what he can do, you know. And he's still good. Don't get me wrong. He's very good, you know, when what he does. But he takes a lot of damage as well. You saw in the Jair fight last time. The Cater fight, he gave a lot of damage, but he's in wars the whole time. And you see Volkanovski, the Ortega fight, he was close in getting beat with the submission, you know, but he came out and he pretty much dominated the rest of the fight, in my opinion. And the Korean Zombie fight, yeah, let's be honest, we all knew Volkanovski was going to win that fight. So if you look at it from that perspective, I don't see Volkanovski losing to Max here. Do I see a finish? I don't think so. I'm going with a decision win for Volkanovski as well. I don't see Max beating him, dude. I think his best shot was the second fight.
Yeah.
I think he beat him in that second fight. The thing was, Max had 2 big first rounds, and the third, fourth, and fifth round were very close, you know, and all these close rounds went to Volkanovski. So, it sucks for Max, but I think Volkanovski wins the decision here.
So looking at some props, so Volk by decision is plus 130, but you could also go with split decision at plus 600. I mean, that's interesting, isn't it?
That's interesting, definitely, yeah.
It could be a split again, couldn't it? The second fight was a split. What do you think about that? Plus 600 with these judges these days. These judges are terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, even if the guy clearly wins, the other guy could still get a scorecard. Any thoughts on that split decision?
It's very possible, man. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, so
it's hard to predict it, but I mean, with the state of judging, guys, maybe that's something you could look at, the split decision prop. Love the show. I've been live in a minute, do my schedule. Hey, man, we always appreciate having you in here, buddy. We're doing Sundays at 10 a.m. It works okay for me right now. I got my baseball game after, but Marcel's got to get out of here. But it's good. It's good. Works for now. Although my voice is tired. No, it's too subjective, but this is the third win, make him the greatest featherweight of all time. Man, I mean, I think so.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You still think it's Aldo?
I think he is the best featherweight, maybe of all time, but not the greatest. The greatest for me is like title defenses, beating title defenses from a fighter, you know. And for me, those WEC title defenses are legit as well, since the UFC took over that promotion. So the best fighters were there as well. So for me, he has to win a few more to get that GOAT status in the featherweight division, which he can get. Don't get me wrong, he can get it, just like Kamaru Usman can get that GOAT status at welterweight over GSP in a few years.
That's fair. I think that's a good comparison, actually. Yeah, because they both have long win streak, but they still need maybe another win or 2 or 3 even.
Yeah.
Anthony says, I think Max might be able to beat him. The competition difference. He's talking about how he fought Ortega and Zombie compared to Cater and Yair. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, Ortega almost finished him, though. You know what I mean? Like, that was crazy. And the fact he got out of that submission, Marcel, remember that? Marcel, his head turned purple, guys. Like, I don't know how he got out of that submission.
Crazy.
How do you think Max and Volk would do against Armin and Gamrot? I think it's interesting. I actually think Volkanovski, if he wins, Marcel, why would he fight Josh Emmett? You know, like, I like Josh Emmett. It's not a money fight. If he wins, Marcel, I think he's going to push an Oliveira fight. Don't you think?
I think he should, to be honest, because listen, if Volkanovski wins this fight, he beat Max 3 times officially. You know, he beat Ortega. He beat Aldo in a non-title fight. You know, I like to see him go to lightweight, testing himself against Charles Oliveira, you know, and I know many people want to see Makhachev Oliveira. I want to see that fight as well, but the fight is still there. You know what I mean? So, and with Volkanovski being the champion, you can make that a big fight, you know, between him and Oliveira. I love to see it, and I think it's amazing if it happens.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. If you're Emmett or you're rooting for Volk, I don't know, because again, we just talked about it. He might move up. If Max wins, will they even do the 4th fight? I don't think they would do it right away. So he probably wants Max to win, because then Max would probably fight Emmett, because that's a friend. Actually, Max has fought more of the guys, right? He hasn't fought Emmett. Neither guy has. Josh would probably get the title shot, Marcel, but I'm just saying, I think there's a better chance that Volk would move up than compared to Holloway, because remember Holloway did, he got destroyed by Dustin Poirier. He's not a flyweight. You know, I mean, Volkanovski's short too. He's short. Max is not short. He's tall, but Max's reach is short. Yeah. People think Max has a long reach, Marcel. It's actually very short, which is surprising. You know, Max was never getting finished against Ortega. I know I was in that fight. I was at that fight. It was a blowout. It was in Toronto. I saw that fight. You have a Toronto Blue Jays hat on. You were probably at that fight too, weren't you, Anthony? All right, let's get to the main.
I thought you were saying to me
no, this guy. He's got the Jays hat on. I think he's a Toronto guy like me. So All right, let's get to the main event, Marcel. Can't we cover this one with you? Israel Adesanya, Marcel, taking on Jared Cannonier. And just an incredible fight here between two absolute studs in the 185-pound division. But Adesanya is a huge favorite, Marcel, minus 400 compared to plus 300 for Jared Cannonier. So just your thoughts on this one, my friend.
Yeah, I always say this, and people hate me for it, but Israel Adesanya is really good at making you believe he does amazing things in the octagon, which he just does basic stuff. But he's just really quick, and he's really good in what he does, you know. Against Whitaker, he acted like he was dominating that fight. It was super close, in my opinion, you know. For that, the Paulo Costa fight, yeah, he did well. The Vettori fight, he clearly won, in my opinion. He's just very good at middleweight, you know, and what he does. If you look at Jared Cannonier, Cannonier was losing the first round against Brunson last time out, and he came back in the second round by knocking him out with those elbows. The Gastelum fight he won wasn't an amazing fight, in my opinion, and before that, the Whitaker loss wasn't great. The thing is, I like Cannonier, but he's not the guy who's going to beat Adesanya. You know, he's just not the guy who's going to beat Adesanya, or he has to touch him at first or second round and can knock him out as possible, but I don't see it happening. I think Adesanya is a smart fighter. He's quick, way too quick for Cannonier, I think. Will he finish him? Maybe, but I think Adesanya gets a decision win here.
He should win. I mean, there's no doubt. Like, he's got, again, a lot of advantage here. He's a younger guy, 5 years younger, 3 inches of reach, 5 inches of height. Like you said, better technical striker. His grappling's improved. At 185, he's besides Anderson, he's the next best guy of all time, probably, right? In this division, is that fair to say?
I would say so. Yeah.
I know he beat Anderson, but again, that was a diminished Anderson. Obviously, I still think Silva's the best ever at 185. But I mean, he's looked incredible. Other than obviously the fight 205 against Jan, where he didn't look very good. You know, Jared's looked great though at 185 too, Marcel. I mean, aside from the Whitaker fight, which he lost, but you know what, Marcel? If that was a 5-round fight, he might have won that fight coming back and winning. Like he hurt him bad in that third round. Remember that third round, Marcel? Like, he came back, and maybe if it was extra rounds, he could have won. It's just tough because, like, I've watched this guy fight for a while now. He's been knocked out a bunch of times. Like, I know at 185, stronger, better, faster, more power. He could catch Adesanya. I think that's possible, but like you said, Adesanya is very smart. Izzy should win this fight, Marcel. I think it'll be competitive until it isn't, if that makes sense. Like, I could definitely see him knocking him out, but I think early on it's going to be pretty competitive. Got to go with Israel Adesanya to beat Jared Cannonier, though. It's hard to pick Jared in this fight.
Yeah.
Can't do it, Marcel. I just can't pick him. I like Jared, but someone mentioned this. He got dropped. He did, Marcel, in the last fight. He came back and won, which was fucking awesome because I bet on him in that fight. But this is a different matchup, and I don't like him as much here. I will say that the Whitaker fight, Marcel, with Adesanya, I thought Adesanya won 3-2, but it was so close. And I do feel like Adesanya is on a little bit of a decline. Do you agree? A little bit of a decline?
Like I said, what I said about Adesanya makes you think he's doing amazing stuff, because I hear people say, "Oh, he did amazing against Whitaker." I was like, "How?" You know, he makes you think that he's doing amazing stuff with those kind of manners. Like, you come over here like the little bit of brashy trash talking. He acts like he's like superior to you if you fight him in the cage, you know. But it's not like that, you know. Whitaker was very close beating him. It was a 50-50 fight to me, you know. I didn't have a problem with Adesanya winning, by the way. But that's how I see it, you know. So is he unbeatable? I don't think he is at middleweight, but he is better than Cannonier, and he should win the fight. That's pretty much how it is.
I agree. Let's get some comments about this one. I think he comes off as a nasty counter. It looks like the first time Robin Costa could. He's calling it a knockout here. Hey, Beercha, what's up, man? One of your guys here, Marcel. You're native country and Beercha the beer. Things are good, man. How's everything with you, buddy? Glad to have you here. Is Jan a bit heavy for Izzy or Jared? No, I don't think so. I know he used to fight heavyweight, obviously, but I feel like Jan's like a legitimate light heavyweight, you know, Marcel. Like, he's going to have to move up to heavyweight. Jan's a bigger and thicker, stronger guy. I mean, there's no doubt about it, you know. What's your top 2 underdogs in the fight card? Well, good question, Marcus. We both picked Donald Cerrone at plus 180, and we both picked Du Plessis. It depends on what book you're at, but I'm looking right now. There's a few at plus 100, so I guess we can call him a dog.
Marcel also picked.
You also picked Barberena, and you also picked Strickland, Marcel. They're also underdogs. So Marcel picked more dogs than me in this card. Usually I'm the guy who picks all the dogs, but I would say, honestly, even though it's crazy to say, I still think Cerrone at plus 180 is just pretty nuts, personally. And then Duplessis, you can get a plus 100. That's a good bet. That's actually a very good bet in my opinion. It'll probably make my best bets list more so the Duplessis one. Because like I said, like even though I'm picking Pereira and like, you guys know I feel decently about him there, I feel stronger about Duplessis, Marcel. And I think you do too, right? Is that fair? Yeah. Let's get some other comments here. Humbly disagree. Thought Izzy beat Whitaker 4-1. I mean, I think one of the judges did too, but I kind of disagree with you, Daniel. I'm going to be honest. I think there's 3-2. Izzy doesn't leave. Recent MMA judging. It is risky. And I'm with Marcel. Like, I think that the last couple fights, okay, the Vettori fight, the second one, honestly, Marcel, that fight wasn't that close. But
No, I agree.
But the Whitaker fight, the commentators were like, oh, he's doing so good. Even the Jan Blachowicz fight, remember how the commentators were like fawning over him? Like, oh my God, he looks amazing. I'm like watching. I'm like, what the hell are they watching? Like,
and then they use it for the promo for Jan. Remember that they acted like they said it about Jan, but they said it about Adesanya.
That's too funny.
It's like I said, man. Adesanya makes you think, and he does it to the commentators as well, that he is dominating these guys with his antics and how he fights, the flashy kind of stuff. But you got to look through that, you know.
Yeah.
He's still winning. I agree, you know, but you got to look through that, you know. He's not as dominant as many people think.
It's over damage. That's so funny. That's what happened in that fight with Jan. Turn off the commentator, you won't see the fight close. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. The commentators really like Israel, and they really they ignore a lot of what the opponents do in this fight. I've noticed that too, Marcel. You're not the only one who's noticed that. Who's Adesanya's biggest challenge at 185? I think he beats Strickland. Honestly, again, it's all matchup dependent, Marcel. That's why I think it's probably Pereira because he's beat him twice in kickboxing and the striking. But if not, Marcel, maybe Andre Muniz because he's probably the best grappler. So I don't know. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I would maybe say Muniz. I don't think Pereira has the biggest challenge to him, to be really honest, dude. He lost 2 times to him, but if you look at the fights, Adesanya was better in both those fights, in my opinion.
I mean, he was better until he was sleeping on the canvas with the doctor with the flashlight saying, hello, wake up. So
True. Yeah. I mean,
you know, I know what you're saying, though. I've watched those fights, and you're right. Like, he was competitive, especially the one where he got knocked out. Jan and Reyes and Teixeira hold wins over Cannonier. How crazy is that? I mean, Cannonier's fought really tough guys. There's nobody in the middleweight that can beat Israel. Maybe not. I mean, it's possible. Maybe not. He used to work a job. He used to live in Alaska. All right, that's it. I think for UFC 276, Marcel. I think if you guys have any more comments, we'll answer them. But I just want to get to PFL really quick, and then we'll get out of here. Marcel, we're going to get out of here by 12.
Can I get it on screen, dude?
Yeah, of course. Let me just pull it up here. Like I said, guys, if there's any last-second questions about UFC, we will take them. Let's pull up PFL here. 1 sec. Well, I just got the Wikipedia. Is that okay, Marcel?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Where is it? Here it is. All right. So we don't have odds for this yet, I don't believe. Let me double check right now. I don't think the odds came out yet. No odds yet. Usually they actually will probably get them up after this podcast. Just watch. It's going to be after this podcast. Also, sorry, Glenn, I'm sorry I missed your question earlier. I was going to answer this. He said if Cannonier falls off the card, who will get the title shot if Cannonier got injured or something?
They better give it to Strickland.
It would be Strickland, I think. I think it would be, but maybe they would go Pereira. I don't think so, though, because, again, he's unranked. It'd be kind of weird. Let's just go through these fights quickly, Marcel. So, yeah, I mean, Kayla Harrison taking on Caitlin Young. She's going to be like minus 10,000. This fight is not competitive. Julia Budd fell off the card. Marcel, Kayla Harrison by stoppage. Probably TKO ground and pound from Mount or something. What do you think?
Yeah, fuck out of here, man. Kayla Harrison. What the hell?
I respect Kayla Young. She's a warrior.
Me too, but come on.
Come on, I know. And on 1 week's notice, Marcel, no way. It's just PFL protecting their brand. Rory McDonald got an easy fight here, too, against the what's his name? The Swedish Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington, yeah. Like that.
McDonald wins. Unless he's completely washed, which I don't think he is yet, he wins. See, this is fucking bullshit that Ray Cooper is fighting Brett Cooper. So they're obviously giving Ray a fight that he's going to probably get 6 points in, guys. Right? He'll probably knock him out. I know right now he's minus 1 point, but he can actually, I think, still make the playoffs potentially. The fact Carlos Dial's out of the tournament is complete bullshit because he beat Ray Cooper, and that's such garbage, Marcel. Just like Corey Hendricks, he's out too, right, Marcel? Not fair. You know, I think it's going to make guys rethink about signing with PFL because they're not playing fair here with some of these guys. Ray Cooper wins by first round knockout over Brett Cooper. What do you think?
Yeah, man, he's
easy fight.
It's sad that he has to knock out his brother here, but and I'm just kidding, obviously. Yeah, Cooper wins. Magomed
Karamov against Jalin Safarino. I think Magomed wins too, Marcel.
Yeah,
again, should be a big favorite there. Gerard Al-Salawi against Magomed Ulanatov. Another interesting fight. I mean, Ulanatov, though, he missed his first fight. Why is he still in the tournament? Why is Liel not fighting in this fight? It should have been Liel versus this guy, in my opinion. I think Gerard could win this fight, Marcel, honestly. I think it's a very close fight. What do you think?
He can, but I'm going with Ulanatov.
Yeah,
I
think
it's close.
Yeah. Jenna Fabian against Larissa Pacheco. Pacheco's actually probably the second best girl besides Harrison. But
she's the old that gave Kayla Harrison the run for her money.
Yeah, Fabian did beat Bud, but I think she lost points because she missed weight or something.
Yeah.
So maybe she could surprise, but I think Pacheco wins. I think you're picking her too.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah.
Nikolai Alex Sakin against Glacier Tebow. I got to go with Nikolai Marcel. I can't pick Glacier. I know he beat Rory. That was a horrible decision. I got to go with Nikolai. You too?
I think Tebow got robbed in this last fight. I don't know against who anymore, but I think he actually should have.
Was it Gerard, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Yeah. Hey man, again, close fight, right? But he got that one against Rory and he went back against him. Marina Mokhtarina against Abigail Montes. I think Marina wins, Marcel. Montes the girl beat Clarissa Shields, but she didn't look very good in her last fight. I don't know about these ones. Jindarova against Faye Zalonova.
I'm going with Jindarova because her name is easier to pronounce.
This is like Zaga Zhumagulov almost. I think she's Kazakhstan too. Or right? She's from
she is.
Olena Kolensik against Vanessa Mello. I think Mello, yeah. I think she could win. She's got a lot of experience. Okay, so that's it for that. We just want to do the PFL quickly. Get a couple of comments and we're going to get out of here, guys. What's next? That's a great question. We never talked about Road to UFC. So I was on vacation and I didn't have it because those cards took place in the middle of the night. I was staying up to watch them. I know there were some big upsets though, like George Tokos got knocked out by one guy. He was minus 600. He got knocked out.
He got immediately signed, that guy.
Yes, I can't remember his name now, but he's a good prospect. John Honko is the guy to follow for that. He knows all those guys. I don't really know them as well. I'm not sure. It's a good question though. Harris is supposed to fight. Eventually needs to fight someone legit. I agree. Feels like PFL's corrupt. I don't know if it's corrupt, but they play favorites. There's no doubt about it. Antoine, I live in PFL, bought tickets PFL just trying to get just because I got a discount. Don't you work at the arena, or does that you work at State Farm Arena? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. Wherever the Hawks play, I think that's where you work, right, Antoine? Although this is a different arena. Minzang, yes, I think that was the guy, something like that. It was definitely that guy. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. It was a few weeks ago. I guess I didn't get a chance to watch those fights, but he was a huge dog. I think that's it, Marcel. Oh yeah, which fight? We'll take this to be the last question. What fight do you want to get moved up to the main card? Great question. I think Lawler because he was upset that he's not on the main card. Give it to him. He's a veteran, deserves it. And then if not, Muniz and Hall.
Quality wise, Muniz, Hall, or Tavares against Plessis. But if you look at how do you say that? If you want to have another banger on the main card, you put on Lawler against Barberena probably.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys, that's it for today's podcast. I mean, it was a lot of fun, Marcel. We did the back-to-back shows. Hope you guys are enjoying it on Sunday mornings now. We're doing the show. Marcel, plug your stuff. Let's get out of here, my friend.
Yeah, it's still Big Marcel 24 on Twitter and Instagram, and Eurosport.nl mixed martial arts section for my articles if you can read Dutch.
Twitter at MN Martin. That's how you'll find out who I am in case you don't know who I am, because some people apparently don't. Podcast, MMAOBsBreaker.com. It's our YouTube, as you guys know. I don't say this stuff, but like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. I need to keep telling people that, but I think you guys already know. I think the people listening are already doing that, so I appreciate that. Bookies.com have my best bets out this week as well. I'll probably get out Wednesday. I would imagine they get posted. MiamiNews.com for some news. But yeah, just follow me on Twitter, guys. Follow Marcel. We love doing the podcast. We'll be back next. We'll be back next Sunday, Marcel, at 10 a.m. We'll be recapping 276 and then previewing Fiziev Dos Anjos card, which should be fun to do. And just last comment here. Grateful to appreciate your breakdowns. I appreciate you, man. We're grateful for you, my friend. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Talk to you soon. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy UFC 276.